So we have from Good Game Gaming Gengar's group of guillotining, grotesque gravelers of joy and anything that they can get their hands on, their grubby Good Gaming Games hands on. They are CYAN in this case. Well, it is CYAN. CYAN the player, CYAN. He's the blue Protoss as well. Did I mention that? I don't think I did. Top left side, we have a red Terran player. He's fighting for a less cool named team, of course. No guillotines in this name, no sir. But still pretty darn good and very, very cool team to have on the scene, of course. It's the Shopify Rebellion, the red Terran player. Give it up for BYUN. Somebody that we are kind of expecting probably here to have not too many difficulties beating somebody of the caliber of CYAN. CYAN here, of course, still very, very formidable Protoss, but probably not really regularly beating the same players that BYUN would be beating, right? So yeah, just a pretty standard opening here. Does look like BYUN is running across, checking to see what's going on with the base of CYAN. Looks like he has opted to go for that Nexus before the Cybercore. If not mistaken, I don't think I am. You know what? I'm just going to say I'm not. Run with the confidence now that I have it. And yeah. Alright, so both of them going to be pretty regular here. I wouldn't have been too surprised if one of them goes for a cheese, right? From both players' their perspective, you can make a case why a cheese wouldn't be the worst idea. For CYAN, of course, you know, catching BYUN off guard somehow, trying to take a risk in order to gain an advantage that would be big enough for him to make up for the overall skill gap might be a good way for him to grab a couple of games. And for BYUN, I mean, if he does mess up his initial rush, at least if it's not too committed, right? He is still the better player, so he might still be able to kind of wiggle his way out of that situation. And overall, of course, the games are going to be shorter then. It's going to be, you know, if you are a pro gamer, you're looking at the amount of money you're getting and the amount of time you're spending into getting that. So, you know, would make sense, but both of them just kind of feeling each other out now. Nothing sexual, just kind of something StarCraft players do sometimes, right? Just going with the regular, well-practiced build at the start, seeing how that kind of goes up against your opponent at this moment in time. And from there, you can make your calls, right? You can be like, all right, well, it felt like he was a little bit weak on the early side, and, well, afterwards it became a bit more hectic, so maybe... Given that in mind, I might be able to make a good couple of choices where to take this this series. BYUN looks like he is just going to go for the triple barracks play for the moment. Stimpack and combat shields both being researched, so that's going to be an ungodly amount of Marines ready to just run across the map. Wow, this is a very unfortunate moment there for CYAN. Does manage to keep it alive. There's no Stimpack just quite yet, but already seeing this number of Marines, it's a little bit worrisome. He recommits here, and I really hope he doesn't lose this Phoenix. Still a good amount of HP with that shield if it does regenerate, of course. I mean, those Marines, they pack a mean punch, and you need every little bit of shield and just overall hull HP in order to keep yourself alive against something like this. Does have the shield battery as well. Is that a second shield battery? It is indeed. So, theoretically, I would kind of assume that he's going to be okay here. Warp Gate is finishing up right now, so that's going to allow him to get 3 more units in total. Pretty much instantly with that. Sentry now finishing up and then warping into units, of course, as well. Immortal in production. Might finish up as the fight is kind of going on. Especially if BYUN decides to move backwards when that shield battery gets charged. Again, the Phoenix is here, flying across the Marines and taking a boatload of damage. You can already see that was just 2 bursts, but those 2 bursts, they did kill the low HP Phoenix and dealt a bit of shield damage to the other ones. They are regenerated, of course, with the help of that shield battery. One gateway in a bit of trouble. So that is going down. CYAN here. It is a fairly formidable front that BYUN really doesn't want to wager his troops into, and does appear to be that he's just going to fall back here a little bit away from the shield batteries. The third base is coming up. Couple of Phoenixes trying to get some more economic damage dealt to BYUN as, you know what, kind of takes some of his own, having that third base denied, and a big stim actually. No medevacts here for these bio units, so every stim means that BYUN is very confident that he's going to be able to get some value there. Get the sentry, which is a big deal, seeing how he's coming in with a lot more bio units. Getting the pickup from that sentry there is rather humongous. The sentry is really one of the biggest tools in the arsenal for Protoss in order to hold off against this big wave of bio, right? A couple of good force fields just shuts it down so incredibly quickly, splitting up that entire ball of DPS and only allowing it to do pretty much half, if not less, its potential, right? If you do it optimally. Well, it's BYUN. He's playing around a little bit with the movement of his army here. The 4 Phoenixes are going to find quite a couple of SCVs here, and do manage to just pick them off. Get shooed away now by a couple of Marines in the missile turret there. I mean, maybe they could have gotten 1 or 2 more SCVs, but I mean, he knows there's an attack coming, right? Because he doesn't see any units of BYUN out on the defensive side of things, so that makes sense. BYUN has his army out on the map. Why would he have his army out on the map? Well, it's usually to do some form of aggression. Or he's setting up a very, very complicated ambush or something like that. Anyway. How will this go? First, the medevacts come in. That is allowing BYUN to run up the main ramp, actually, and now suddenly has the high ground against the sentries and all the gateway forces. The Colossi are still okay with this, it seems. There's no Vikings or anything of the sorts to really push those backwards very well. I guess he has a couple of Marauders, but I mean, the bio, it seems like they're a bit too fragile to really make some move like that work. It's not that much with this Colossus at this moment in time. The other ones are still further away. But, yeah, look at the damage that it just does. That was mostly Marines right there. BYUN is getting a lot of probe kills, though, with the medevac drop that is still rampant. Getting a couple of those Starkers as well quite nicely, but then is shot down. 14 workers. Army supply still fairly equal. It's a pretty good move there for BYUN. Even sending out another medevac here. Wants to continue onwards with the aggression. Has to pay attention though. Those Phoenixes on the prowl could nip that in the behind quite quickly. And make BYUN kind of second guess those types of quick medevac moves. So far, looks like it's going alright. He did manage to pass by those Phoenixes. A little bit of good luck comes a long way sometimes in the game of StarCraft 2. Sometimes it more so comes down to how many times you allow yourself to be in a position to potentially get lucky with one of these drops or one of these attacks, right? And BYUN, truly a master of kind of allowing himself to get those types of opportunities and avoiding catastrophe when the attacks potentially won't go as well as initially thought. Oh my god, okay, well that is it. That was a massive one. 24 workers. Makes a grand total of 40 workers lost in about 10 minutes. Yep, that is just perfectly fine here. Most of those dying in a big ball of let's all get back to work probe energy. And suddenly a Widowmine getting the better end of them. Okay. Well then. As I try to decide whether or not I'm going to be a Debbie Downer for the rest of the chances here of CYAN in this game, or whether or not we're going to kind of see... Well, I suppose that is for Colossi, right? BYUN can afford to kind of move this base backwards, but We'll just kind of commit here. The force fields are really good. They are doing a nice job here, but the siege tank's still operational. Second siege tank also, and that is just shooting away as CYAN is trying to make use of those force fields, so makes it a little bit less advantageous. There's no real clean way to force field away a siege tank. That is just kind of stationary sitting there. Huh. Two Vikings here. Have a bit of a tussle with the Phoenix. Hopefully he doesn't lose one. CYAN really trying, but instead loses one of his own Phoenix. BYUN dancing around with that low HP Viking there for a while. Kind of being like, alright, well, he wants it. He wants it. Come and get it. Always cool stuff to see. Well, Prism aiming towards, well, could be the third or the main base. I would assume CYAN would try to wait a little bit. Oh my god, you're kidding me. Again, just a bare miss with the Phoenix patrolling on the right side here. Another drop going unscouted. But yeah, I would hope that CYAN kind of waits until he sees BYUN moving out a little bit. Trying to gain some more ground, and this could be that moment. Phoenix is kind of seeing this, the parts of the army. And that is exactly when the Zealots and the War Prism will jump into action. A couple of Zealots towards that third base. Looks like there is still plenty to go around to deal with this. The missile turrets make short work of the War Prism, but does still get a couple of Zealots in that base. Now, the medevac drops here also seems like they're in a bit hotter waters than they would have liked to be. But, well, is he doing anything with this? I don't really think so. He's not really accomplishing much of anything. He's going to lose a medevac here as well with a lot of Marines in it. That's a good defensive setup there for CYAN. Probably forcing BYUN to kind of react to those Zealots in his main base. Did cause him to, well, micro the units on the offensive a bit less well than he would have normally. Disruptors also coming up. I mean, that is a great way to still make something out of a game here. It's pretty cool to see CYAN still kind of hanging on, right? Even though he did lose 40 workers before 10 minutes. And I have to say, he's holding on, right? If he manages to get them into a position where it's 200 supply versus 200 supply, suddenly his army, if he gets a good fight, right, might just be able to snowball things. That is a big if, though. I mean, I've been commending BYUN continuously already in this one game here about being able to be good at picking battles. Not taking fights that potentially could snowball out of his favor. Usually he manages to kind of get out of there with enough. No Liberators here just quite yet. They are in production, though. Together with the range upgrade immediately as well, but not quite here yet. So I don't think BYUN really wants to push into the Protoss here. He might be looking to find if it has the fifth base going down somewhere and try to get some pressure on that. He is kind of committing here. There's no disruptor shots yet been fired, at least as far as I've seen. That really is what you want to do, right? Have those Colossi just kind of sweep away with your Archons and Starkers as well. And then as the army tries to move in on your somewhat fragile units, you shoot those disruptor balls. Again, no disruptor shots here. Being shot by CYAN, definitely struggling a little bit with the control of those units, I would say. And that is, of course, it's always more difficult to shoot an opponent that is running away from you with those disruptors, rather than one that is running into you. But still. Oh. Okay. Couple of blind zealots, not sure where that siege tank was. Using echolocation as they run around trying to figure out where everything is. Little outcluster of Bio here. Actually still finding some valuable units of the Protoss as well, but all of them are cleaned up now. Still think that is okay for BYUN, seeing how he just had the better trades overall throughout this game, it feels like. Although, well, I guess the economy was in his favor, right? Yeah, there we go, there we go. But yeah, can't afford, of course, to keep losing big portions of army that way. Could have a bit of a showdown here as these two players are getting closer and closer together with their armies. Couple of DTs on the right side of this army as well. Could try to come in from behind, I suppose. Sometimes that is a little strategy we see from Protoss, but anyway, here we go. Oh, that Bio is quite heavily stimmed, isn't it? We'll be trying to make something happen still. That's a good disruptor shot. CYAN here making some headway. But the Liberators and the Vikings, they are... Well, actually, no, they aren't really dealing with those Colossi and Disruptors all that well. There's still a good amount of them available here. 5 probes, 6, 7, well, more are dying now. A little bit of harassment going up here for BYUN, while CYAN running across the map, trying to make the best of this situation where he did get himself a pretty good fight. He's still behind in army supply overall, though, so... I don't think he can press in too much, so much further. He will actually be able to do some damage. Might be able to get some counter harassment done, right? Still has those DTs, has some zealots here and there on some flanks. It looks like BYUN is fairly well equipped with dealing with this sort of stuff. Oh, another little engagement. A couple of Stalkers once again getting sniped away, right? Disruptor shot not hitting its mark. Liberators making it quite difficult for the Protoss to engage here. A lot of Stalkers just walking in straight forwards. The warp in is trying to be made as well, trying to safeguard this Nexus. It does, yeah, it does still stand. Would call that a victory. This Bio force quite heavily stimmed now. The medevacts are empty as well. If those Colossi get on top of this, that would be the end of things. Oh, the Stalkers not being able to blink on top of those medevacts, but still a pretty reasonable fight for CYAN. The difficulties with this is there's already another army available, right, for BYUN. He's just been ahead so much with the economy this game that he just has more to work with. The recall does come in time, but it is just a slaughter. The units of CYAN melt underneath the Liberator fire, and the Nexus goes down as well. BYUN here now with the 5 base economy against 4 base of the Protoss. He's ahead with almost, yeah, 50 supply right now. It's not just with army, that's also with workers. He is swimming. He is swimming, and CYAN is, well, he's drowning. He's trying to act as a flotation device, but BYUN just keeps pushing him under the water here, it seems. Alright, this is getting a bit more scary. We see that CYAN's army is getting less and less technologically complicated, right? It is just the Disruptors right now with those Stalkers. The Stalkers meant to deal with the Liberators, the Disruptors pretty much with anything else. At least up to the point where the Stalkers then can actually take the fight with the Gateway forces. Let's see how that goes down. The Stalkers there. Get rid of one Liberator. That's nice. Bit of a dead zone here. Oh, don't just run in there needlessly. Desperate to try and make something work, but those Liberators, of course, just slowly stepping forwards. And that's just 4 more Liberators, of course. Just when you think things can't get any worse, 4 more Liberators show up and it gets twice as bad. BYUN here, I think this might be the final push. GG is called, and there you have it. The first victory going into BYUN's favor. 20-minute game. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well fought battle there by CYAN. He Definitely managed to hold on there for quite a bit, but not quite enough. Right, let me quickly get this, let me get this battle on the way. I'm not sure. Let me just do this, actually. There we go. Right, so this is the first time I'm doing this. We will start the battle. Also, I'm not sure what type of thing we could have done. Is this live? Yeah, this is live. BYUN and CYAN are waiting now, so we're doing this. Actually, I could just alt-tab now, can't I? Giganatha, right. He wants to play on Giganatha. How's the battle going? Are we winning? And my big boy is just standing still, isn't he? That's... Everyone's just standing still. There's one guy soloing the entire map. I think. Something like that. Anyway. Hey, there we are. Lovely. Lovely. We have victory. Let me get that loaded up. Everything does seem to be right. Okay. We have a victory. Let me see. Captain chest. And then we'll just do this. We'll just do that. Damn. Blam. There we go. Let's pick a map. This one? Sure. I think we need to do them all. Is it like, does it reset every stream? Is that the thing that happens? I think the game is about to start. Let's throw this guy in here, shall we? He looks cool. Bam. Alright. And with that, the next battle, we're waiting to get that started. Let's hop into this game, shall we? In the bottom left side, a brave little blue Protoss fighting for the glorious gutsy gamers, glamoured with girls and guns. They are Good Game Gaming, CYAN. Top right side, the red Terran player fighting for Shopify Rebellion, BYUN. Alright, with that, checking out to see which of these players will be getting the second, well, either a second or a first victory, I suppose. Which one of these will get their second victory this game? Trying not to be biased, trying to still see CYAN here as having a good shot. I mean, to be fair, those probes at the start, they really were a bummer, right? If he hadn't lost 40 probes, that would have been such a closer game. But then again, maybe something else would have gone wrong, right? You could always go down the list of like, oh, well, if that didn't happen, well, maybe something later down the road would have happened, right? It's what we were talking about with being able to get yourself as many of these opportunities as possible where you potentially could get lucky. It's a big deal and helps out in those situations. What's going on here? Cybercore, Nexus, alright. Well, Nexus Cybercore, I should say. Command center with a Reaper. Pretty well towards the general compliances of the PvT meta. That is decided upon by the PvT committee of pro players and commentators and esports organizers alike. Just gonna try to get a bit of a scout off here. The Adept not quite ready, so might be able to get another probe if he really tries hard. Might be able to get 2 probes actually if he really micros his heart out. He is Micro Jackson after all. Oh, there we go, there's one. And that's where he'll keep it at for the time being. I mean, there's still 2 probe kills in total. Very respectable. And we see this little thing here from BYUN that he does sometimes. Now, I think it's fine in this situation, right? Normally, I'm not the biggest fan, personally. The Marauders, they can just kind of jump get across the map. And try to take out some of those gateway units, in particular the Stalker and such. Of course. Or Zealots, right? Or probes, whatever. I don't see it work all that many times, personally, but I see BYUN try it an ungodly amount, so... It's the amount where you start to worry for someone's sanity. There are other things in this world, BYUN. But here he goes again, the 2 Marauders. Off to give a little bit of a boot licking into the Protoss units. Let's see how they do. I mean, just the shield battery on its own kind of already defeating the Marauder aggression, doesn't it? I guess the Reaper gets in. Now there's an Oracle chasing away the Marauders. Alright. I mean, if it does get the Marauders here, might be okay. It's using some of its energy, right? So that energy won't be used up against SCVs. Beyond behind this looks like a Cyclone coming up here, and a double medevac for the Marines. Ba 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 ba. Third base. Always better to have a third base than just two bases, right? Unless if you only have a third base, then two bases would be better. Having a third base, assuming you have a first and second one as well. Very specific commentary here. Alright, back on board, little chaps. We're off to Protoss Land Adventure, or maybe they're just gonna float right into those oracles and drop on top of them. That is what's gonna happen here. A very awkward exchange of kind of actions there. I'm not sure. Do I unload? I mean, he's probably just gonna fly away. I'm not gonna get it anyway. Sign like... Is he gonna unload? He's not. Alright, well, then I guess I just kind of sit here and then beyond. Alright, I guess I do unload. Felt very awkward. Anyway, Stalkers should be able to... Actually, they don't have Blink yet. So, oh my, that could be a difficulty. Stimpack right now being able to catch up with the Stalkers. No microbing backwards against those units now. Oh, come on. Grab that final boy. There we go. Getting out of there. Apparently there's a lawnmower going around outside. It's interesting. Very interesting. I don't have a lawn outside. Suspicious. Bit of Stalker pressure here. Not really going the way as planned, it seems. Getting... How much damage is that? What? 34 damage in total. Oh my, that is a big stim right on top of those Stalkers. None of them went down there, but now they do. Quite a couple of them, in fact. Needs another blink away. Get some more distance, but will there be another stim in attempt to chase? Doesn't seem to be. Waiting for those siege tanks as well. They are going to be a pivotal point. The point of a swivel here now for that bio army to rotate around. There we go. A couple of status traps might become a bit of a difficulty, but the scan, being able to see them quite rapidly and just gunning it down with those siege tanks in the back, not really having anything else to shoot. Inching a bit closer. There are not that many force fields remaining anymore. No charge for those zealots either. Oh wait, they do have charge. My bad. There we go. Got a bit confused. A couple of units inside of the medevacs here, not really helping out with fights like these, of course. Still one Marine in that medevac. He's going to absolutely kick himself if he loses now because of that. I think, yeah, with the extra zealots, I think we'll have CYAN slowly making this safe, yeah. Okay, still a Widowmine there as well. That didn't come into play either. I mean, definitely was an opportunity there for BYUN to just break his opponents outright, but a couple of small things not quite going his way, and CYAN being able to withhold that pressure quite nicely. Being quite patient and careful with the way he engaged, staying out of the siege tank range for as long as possible, not taking any poke damage either. Very secure way of taking that fight. Sticking with his shield batteries. Taking every advantage that's in the playbook. Couple of zealots running by on the right, but also on the left. And the left has not yet been spotted, so that's actually the bigger one as well. A couple of reinforcing units, though, should be able to deal with this already on their own. The one zealot gets himself a single mule, I believe that was. Not sure what the energy on it was either, though, to be fair, but still kicking something into the ground. Protoss now in full retreat. The status trap being lured into, but only a couple of units now. Although that is 3 Marauders. The Marauders, of course, the real punching force here for this army against those Stalkers in particular. Has to watch out for that secondary status trap that is already set up here on the right flank. Hopefully BYUN will commit a scan before he does commit into this fight. Make sure that the area is safe. A couple of zealots here sacrificing themselves for the greater good. Setting off the winter mines, and that allows CYAN to comfortably clean this up and push it further back across the Terran side of the map again. Ooh, a very nice split there. That could have been the end of a lot of zealots. Very well done by CYAN right there. Didn't completely dodge it, of course, or pull back before it went off, but just being able to quickly click that zealot and grabbing that back to safety away from the other ones. Very, very good reaction timing there. Couple of force fields trying to catch the bio forces, but BYUN realizing that he's out of energy now. Bit more comfortable just continuing to push on through. Widowmines need to get themselves into the ground, and there are a couple of zealots here trying to make their way into the Terran production line. Couple of SCVs now together with the reinforcements coming in. Should be able to clean it up once again, but that's actually a lot more SCVs going down than I initially thought would. 14 of them. Putting CYAN on a comfortable 15, well, make that 11 worker lead. As long as he kind of holds on here, re-establishes a 4th base, which he is attempting on the left side. Might be able to get something going into his direction, but still a scary thing, of course, with BYUN that heavily on top of him with this army, and even more, double the amounts coming in right now. It's already struggling getting rid of this army right here, but ooh, good storm right there. Good dodges on the Widow Mines as well. This is perfect. Getting rid of this army now, really doing a good bit of damage on that before the other army comes in. The other army still gets to cancel on the 4th base. And then, that is what we were talking about. That's a big deal. He really wants to have that 4th base established before BYUN. And it looks like that is no longer going to be the case. BYUN already flying a 4th command center towards his 4th base location. Some zealots set up for a flanking position on that right side. Ready to tango with that 4th base as soon as it lands on the 3 o'clock location. And BYUN is once again moving out aggressively towards the 3rd base of the Protoss. Is that more zealots on the left? Yes, it is. Truly a lot of attempts by CYAN here to get that economic damage rolling once again. Those previous zealots definitely made something happen here. Once more, the 4th base for CYAN gets cancelled. And this is getting really tough now for him. He needs to get that 4th base. His main base, not much left within there. And he needs to get that income to be, you know what, at least somewhat comparable to that of BYUN. BYUN skyrocketing ahead right now in the mineral upkeep, or the mineral income upkeep. That is a completely different thing, I suppose. That's if it's the upkeep for the SCVs that they have to pay for their work. More SCVs go down, actually. 13 of them. Not bad. Those zealots, they do know how to slice and dice up those little worker boys. But this is the real problem, right? CYAN just not being able to really stabilize at his 4th base. Again, attempting to build on the left side now. BYUN just kind of checking, where is it? Is it on the right? And seeing that it's not on the right, most likely we'll just make a dash towards the left and start pressuring here. He knows all he has to do is continuously pressure CYAN on this 4th base. And if he doesn't make a halt here quickly, that is just going to run him dry. Okay, good rotation from CYAN this time around. We'll be able to put his army between his own Nexus and the army of BYUN. Zealots really committed to get the SCVs, as many as possible here. It seems like BYUN has gotten a bit more on top of the run-by defense as well. Only 3 SCVs go down this time around. Planetary Fortress on that 4th base, of course, also make it very difficult for just Zealots to bust through that. Really want to have those DTs if you want to do some sort of run-by attack like that, of course, on a Planetary Fortress. 5th base probe is intercepted. There's a couple of ghosts here. Those High Templar not in any War Prism, and that is going to get them punished. At least a couple of them still won with a bit of energy. Let's see, does he still have one more Storm? No, it's just going to transform into an Archon now as well. And still so many units for BYUN remaining. Another High Templar is coming in. This Storm needs to be pretty good. It's alright. Do we have more? The problem is it's so heavily focused on Marauders here, the army composition of BYUN, that even with a pretty reasonable Storm, BYUN is allowed to kind of just run out of there with most of his troops. Only a few of them getting shot down afterwards with the chase by the Archons. Difficult position for him to be in. Zealots on the left side once more. CYAN not giving up on this game. Ooh, good amount of feedbacks. There we go, but yeah, EMP just too strong. That was just too much. It's not about EMP being better or worse. That was just too much for BYUN there. CYAN just really struggling with that battle for the time being. Alright, we still have 14 minutes before the next Stream Raiders battle, so we're going to have a little 3rd game here, I would say, before we do that one, shall we? Or should we start it early? I don't know what people prefer. Just in between games and try to get as many battles in as possible, or just kind of let the timer run and let people get... I guess it was still an easy mission, right? Let's see what map. Lightshade. Lightshade will be the map. Okay. Map number 3. Oh, this shirt is not good on the green screen. I thought it would be okay. It's all white. Oh well. Maybe maybe reflecting some of the green on top of it. Who knows? Anyway, doesn't seem to be any preference whatsoever. All right, and I guess we're just gonna do the game, shall we? We're just gonna start off CYAN versus BYUN, game number 3. And then afterwards we'll do the battle. Good. All right. Good. BYUN is slashing right now, right? He is absolutely murdering. CYAN, you can see this is pretty good. I feel like this is pretty good practice for him, kind of holding his own against BYUN. And to be fair, like, I don't see it as impossible for CYAN to win one of these games, right? It doesn't seem out of reach. It just seems like over the course of time, the longer the game keeps going, BYUN just keeps taking small advantage, small advantage, small advantage, sometimes big advantage, right? But yeah, it's just not really being responded to on equal level here by CYAN. He's trying, but it's a difficult thing. This BYUN guy is playing a lot today. Yeah, he is. For sure. This is not this BYUN guy, though. This is actually that other guy from the Good Game Gaming team. CYAN. Top left side, there he is, the Red Terran. Shopify's Rebellion. BYUN. leader of the rebellion, putting down an engineering bay, rebelling against the Nexus that CYAN would like to put down as soon as he could. Of course, he did try to go for a couple of Nexus first. It looks like this time around he's going to go for the Cybercore. LA Hoop. They take a bit of a hit sometimes on the nose by the hand of that Reaper, so this way you kind of secure yourself against that, of course. Zealots having to be constructed as well to try and get rid of that engineering bay. Small investment for BYUN, being a small pain in the rear for CYAN here. Alright. And there he comes, the hero Zealot. You're not a Nexus! Not falling for that trick. I wonder if that ever happens. It probably did, right? In some low-level games somewhere, where somebody gets proxy NG bay blocked, and then someone's like, oh, I was already building my command center. Oh, what's this? Just kind of making the assumption, right? When you're so tunnel visioned on one thing that you don't really realize that that shape right there is not your color, or is it the right shape? Alright, Stargate's coming up here for CYAN. That is being proxied in the middle of the map. BYUN so far not really having a good idea about this. But does know that, well, actually he saw 2 pylons here as well. Must have seen the timing on it though, right? What's he doing as a way of preparing? He has his command center being built on the high ground. Making Marines and Hellions. Honestly, it looks like he wants to do a Hellion drop to me. Could work, right? With the Stargates on the opposite side of the map here, probably not going to have that much available to defend. And, well, just running through the front door here. I guess he could try to burn himself through the Zealot, right? I think you can. How many shots would that be? I think, like, just 2 shots from all 4? No? It's not... I know that it is for the Adept. Alright, so it's 3 shots. Yeah. Now the Adept is there. The Adept's also 3 shots. Alright, never mind. I don't know anything. There we go. 2 Hellions. Come on. Enter Valhalla. And manage to hit. Oh, that's a good hit. There we go. 3 on the 1 HP mark. There is 2 going down. Trying to just queue up a couple of more. And oh, I guess he gets 2. Doesn't really get a good scout off here, unfortunately, but... Wait, they already... Oh my god, he lost it. He lost the Void Ray. He lost the Void Ray, really? He actually lost the Void Ray during that? Who got it? Who got the Void Ray kill? It's this one Marine. There's one Marine here. That's crazy. Right, yeah, apparently BYUN capable of shooting down the shield batteries from this location with his Marines on the high ground. And the shield batteries not repairing themselves, unfortunately. Oof. Oof. Well, at least CYAN got spared how he lost his Void Ray to be broadcasted here. What's his follow-up? Stalkers? Just Blink Stalker attack? I don't know. It does seem a bit desperate right now, doesn't it? I mean, his army is really weak. His worker can... Oh boy, he's gonna lose 2 Void Rays. He gets the tank. He got the tank. I mean, the siege tank... Alright. Think about this, right? The siege tank, absolutely crucial to hold off against Blink Stalker attacks. So, taking out that siege tank may give him a chance to make something happen here with the Blink Stalker attack, right? So, it's not incredibly crazy what he just did, right? Those Void Rays, they're not going to be as useful together with the Stalkers. They don't do that much damage against Marines, and, well, I guess against the Vikings, you already have the Stalkers anyway. So those siege tanks, they are the crucial, real thing that you have to be wary of because of the range, of course. They just don't allow you to do that lovely kiting the Stalkers love to do. So, yeah. Taking that down, pretty cool, pretty cool. BYUN only having one siege tank now available, right? So that is a big deal. These Stalkers might be able to contain BYUN here for a pretty reasonable time, blinking away before the siege tank gets a shot or any Widowmine rockets go off into the air. Still one more Widowmine. Oh dear, he just blinks right on top of it. Not the best way. He's getting a bit ahead of himself, seeing the units moving back. I think that was very smart by BYUN. BYUN actually unburrowing all the Widowmines except for one. The one that was not targeted by the Clairvoyant. So a very cool strategy. Well, I say strategy, but a bit of quick thinking there from BYUN being able to make the best of that situation. That being said, CYAN still in a bit of doo-doo. Struggling to make something happen here with these Stalkers, and in all honesty, I'm not convinced that it's gonna happen here. These Stalkers are just being met by a Terran army that is twice the size, if not more. So yeah, BYUN, he could probably even defend 4 bases against these Stalkers instead of just the 2, which he is on right now. Would be a bit more hairy, would be a bit more dicey, but it's not entirely unthinkable. Right now, still having a couple of units here and there. Oh. Unsiege happen, and the Stalkers enter the fray, but still a lot of Marauders there being able to dish out a couple of shots and punish those Stalkers for their attempt. 2 Widowmines, nice pick off there, but the blink away, not that far away. Zealots, oh, they're going to commit before the Widowmines burrow. Bit too quick on the trigger there, I guess, from BYUN. CYAN moving back onto the high ground, but BYUN quick to chase. Now the shield battery's the holy ground for any Protoss warrior. Careful. There's a lot of DPS in those bio units. Here is the surround, actually. The Zealots on the backside, causing a lot of those Widowmines to friendly fire. And that is a beautiful surround there for CYAN. Being able to quite handedly deal with that push of BYUN. Now, more is still coming along, of course. BYUN not giving up so easy. But once again, CYAN showing that he knows how to tango with BYUN his aggression here and somewhat survive for a reasonable amount of time. Even though he takes a bit of damage early on sometimes, you know. But will he ever be able to take such a situation and turn the advantage upside down? Actually get it suddenly to go into his favor here. These Zealot run-bys have been a staple to his style so far against BYUN. They have been working out relatively well for him, right? It's still so much better to do this type of stuff than not to do anything like that. Especially against a player that is sending most of his army across the map most of the time. Still one Widowmine accessible there for a shot. Base for CYAN on the top right side might get pressured pretty soon as well. CYAN already struggling here at the bottom side of the map with the 1 army. Although BYUN is giving him a bit of breathing room at the natural entrance. Recall is allowing BYUN to skedaddle skadoodle. And move in on the left side again. No? Okay. No, he's having second doubts. Is he having second doubts? Is he, though? think he's just going to go for a big drop. As soon as he sees CYAN pushing somewhere. I think he's just going to load this up at some point and then drop it over here. That's what I think BYUN's going to do. That's what my BYUN is telling me. BYUN, don't you dare. You got to load up first. BYUN, no, don't prove me wrong. Oh, God. Alright, well, we'll just not look at it, right? Pretend it's not happening. The force on the top here really doing a good battle. And over here, we're still having... it looks like they dropped in the main base, ran down to the natural. Now we're having a bit of a battle there with a couple of zealots that were being warped in. Very quick maneuvering from BYUN. Almost looks like they teleported somehow from over here, where they obviously dropped first. But yeah, there we go. BYUN being able to take game number 3 as well and puts him up onto match points already. That game going a little bit quicker than the previous two. BYUN finding the way to push his opponent into submission, becoming clearer and clearer for him. It might be the case. It might be the case. Romanticide being chosen here by CYAN, and it looks like it's perfectly in line with the battle as well. There we are. What we got Sun Lily, Peanuts UK, Dr. Wolves, and Loco. 998. That is not the StarCraft 2 logo. Well, it might be a StarCraft 2 logo, but a different one. Anyway, let's get that started. As that is running, let me make sure that these players knows that they are valued and are we with enough? I hope we are. Doing it. We did it. Easy. Got that game started. Make myself a referee because, you know, I like the thrill that the power gives me. There you go. Everyone gets a thing, and alright, well, that was still quite easy, it seemed, so let's do a different one. Quite a lot of minions here, it seems. Quite a lot of spidery boys, and still level 1, so I think we'll be okay. Let's get something in there. Let's get a big flag bearer right here. So, well, actually, is that smart? I don't think that's smart, actually. Let's get a big old barbarian in there, shall we? Sure. That seems fun. Right, off to game number 4. Could potentially already be the end of the road here for our blue Protoss player. He's fighting for a wonderful team. A great, genuine, gorgeous, greatly underappreciated team. Of course, it's the good gaming CYAN. Bottom right side, the Shopify Rebellion, the Red Terran, is representing them. Mr. BYUN, hoping to get himself one more victory here, and with it, in sweet and easy, clean 4-0 series. We'll see if that works out for him, or if CYAN is about to bite back, of course. CYAN, he's definitely struggling, right? It definitely does seem like BYUN is just a level above him. And that is kind of what we were expecting. But to be fair, CYAN is making good moves. He's getting BYUN in some awkward situations, right? With the Zealot run-bys that are going fan-bloody-tastic. With the holds that he's having as well. He's very good at maintaining his defensive posture. And keeping BYUN from taking him out entirely. But really getting the game into his own favor, that is seemingly eluding him so far. And still, regardless of that fact, I mean, you have to commend him for still trying his hardest here. Just doing the regular games, right? Actually just going for the straight up macro style, just doing pretty much meta things, right? He's not doing weird things. He's not going completely out of the box. Anything of the sorts. He's just doing his style. Now, BYUN did do a fake CC there for a little bit. He was dancing around with the probe. Instead, we are having a starport and a factory coming along very quickly. Could be Hellions, I would assume, and there they are. CYAN here. I'm not entirely certain if he picked up on the fact that both SCVs ran backwards. That was kind of the moment where that had to become painfully clear that there was no command center coming along. Just gonna get to recheck here with this adept. There we go. Stargate? Yeah? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Stargate can be incredibly good against those Hellions, of course, but the problem is that we have those Hellions coming in a little bit earlier than they would have otherwise, so you're not going to have that a tremendous Phoenix count just quite yet. Even one, though, will be fantastic because you can just pick one up, but without other Phoenixes nearby to really shoot them down, could become a problem here. Although BYUN, actually seeing the 3 gateways there and the shield battery, already decides against this move. Is just gonna run backwards and await the medevac. 2 Widowmines will be running into the natural base while those Hellions are making a ruckus, probably. It's what we are assuming. Yeah, there they go. Going to chase towards the probe line. Where are the Widowmines? The Widowmines getting picked up in the medevac. What is happening here? Yeah, they are. Alright, and there they go into the natural. Already done with the Hellions, though, so fully in perfect state to kind of target down those Widowmines. Spread out those probes, only losing 4 in total. That is a very, very good hold for CYAN. That was absolutely wonderful. And probably one of the better ways that could have gone for him. Here's the problem. Apparently the armory did finish up. So now these Widowmines no longer visible. And they're about to reset. Does he know they're about to reset? Is he gonna get... Oh my... No! You're kidding me! Oh, it was going so well. Oh, it was going so well for CYAN. Oh, that is so rough. Okay. And again, I mean... It's just, it really does just seem like a matter of time. Eventually, BYUN will find this one singular moment somewhere in the game, and it doesn't have to be much, right? That was like, that was as close as it gets, really. That Widowmine was about to die, and just barely, with a final breath, spitting out a big rocket that kills, how many probes that was. However many probes that was. We had 10 in total there, but I think that still wasn't counting the other probes as well. I guess we can have a look. 16 probes. 16 probes right now. 17. Still a Widowmine here in this medevac. That should not be going anywhere. I like how he was trying to hide it behind the behind the buildings. That's pretty nifty. And there's still more Widowmines here, right? Still having trouble just clearing up his base. BYUN behind us. He's having a whale of a time just doing whatever the hell he's doing over here. He's not doing as much as I thought he would be. Still only on 1 Rex. Starports and factory. No 3rd base. So yeah, he is still quite far behind, but I mean... he's killing more probes. He's doing the Widowmine drop play versus Protoss right now. That is what he's doing. He's doing mass Widowmines. He's making bio units now, guys. Don't worry about it. More Widowmines. Okay, they do get cleaned up. It's good play versus TOS. I mean, clearly. 25 workers dead. No problem. To be fair, the Widowmine drop play was always a thing that people did against Protoss, but... I mean, to this extent, I mean, how many? 13 Widowmines at 7 minutes have been thrown in, together with 4 Hellions as well, into the harassment. I mean, BYUN's army is not much, right? That is why he was still only on the 1 barracks at, what, 6 minute 50? 6 minute 30, somewhere around there. That's why he's going to struggle. We'll see, we'll see. I think he got himself in an okay position, right? Overall, the resources lost tab Maybe against the better Protoss, I don't think this would have worked, but CYAN here, just, oh man, those couple of milliseconds, right? And then suddenly things start snowballing. Happens rather quickly. Getting a couple of SCVs here is kind of nice. Getting something. Sounds simple, but it isn't. It really isn't. Nothing in StarCraft is. Five workers. Alright, so CYAN still, let's take a look at this. 63 versus 51 workers. 33 versus 42 army supply. That is fairly normal supply amount-wise, right? Protoss is supposed to be a little bit behind in the overall army supply at this moment in time, as they are less doubling down on the cheaper tier 1 units and also trying to get themselves into the tier 2 and 3. Observer there. Again, a little bit of a sloppy mistake. It looks like the Widowmine getting his hands on the Observer. So made it a bit more of a difficult thing to manage right there. More harassment from BYUN on the right side, but do not manage to get that much this time around. As he does, pulls away everything, of course, and has them available for another attempt later down the line. For example, right now. like so. Full Medivacs here, there's a Phoenix. BYUN really staying on top of this. He knows if those Medivacs go down in some kind of unglorious fireworks show, then that could very well be GG. There is an observer waiting the arrival of these Medivacs. Will the Medivacs see that there is something staring at them? What do we even have anti-air-wise? 5 Stalkers and a Phoenix. It's not much. It really is not much. And none of which is at this natural base. Alright, it's coming over right now. But that's a full unload behind the mineral lines. And that can be a difficult place for the Protoss to engage. Let's see. Colossi are having a pretty good time, though. Phoenix coming in as well. Those Medivacs very low on the HP. One will be going down, I think. Oh, no. Does unload most of its units before going down. Some probes taking a couple of bullets to the face as well. BYUN, I mean, he's just trying to get whatever he can at this moment in time. While he is moving in here to the 4th base here. I think this would be one of the better maps to make this style of play work, though, from CYAN, right? Probably this map is the map where you're gonna have the easiest time holding the 4 to 5 bases against a very aggressive players such as BYUN. That is going into his favor. He's on full base, right? Remember Giganatha? Jeez Louise, didn't get anything done there. Lizard Teats, 420. Thank you for that sub, man. It's a 7-month streak. That is pretty nutty. 8 months in total. Appreciate it. Alright. Little moment here with the Colossi on the ropes. Is this the moment where CYAN loses too much of the one flank, and before the rest of the army gets there, it's already too little too late? Is it already too little too late? It might be. There's not that much here, but BYUN is playing it a bit careful as well. Does not want to squander his good fortune he's found so far, of course, with these trades. More barracks coming up. Would have anticipated a 5th base as well at some point here for BYUN, but not coming up just quite yet. Does he need to? That's the question. Again, look at his army for CYAN. It is so small. It's like he's spread out in 3 locations or something. He actually is. He literally is spread out on 3 locations. And then every fight before he realizes BYUN is there, he takes a fight with 1/3 of his army. And then the rest of the army kind of gets there, and it's like, well, you just lost 1/3 of everything. Good observer placements here on the bottom left side. How many did die so far already? Only one, so I mean, it's not like BYUN is really on top of taking them down. Here we are. Awkward fights. I don't like this for BYUN, the engagement overall, but it seems like it's still working. Again, just sheer firepower, sheer numbers being enough for him to break on through here and slap down justice. I mean, it's just a matter of time at this point, I suppose. I mean, BYUN, his army is growing at a preposterous rate. I suppose it is still 4 base versus 4 base. We do have disruptors coming up. I mean, maybe I'm calling it too quickly here. But then again, I mean, we know kind of the caliber of CYAN, right? Maybe if he was a much better, like, if he was Trap or something like that, maybe, you know, you could try to conceive of certain ways to make this still happen. But so far, we have not seen CYAN really deliver the level of play of someone as Trap, right? And he's been getting close. He's really doing a great job so far. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. He's really, he kind of feels more like a stats, perhaps, right? Just sitting back, trying to hold his ground, macro up, and really get that ultimate army out. But man, he is just being bullied right now. 2 more command centers coming up. No disruptor shot there, making a miracle connection. Of course, there is another army here for BYUN on the right side that is not participating with this fight at all. Dashing on in the bio, nice spreading. Disruptor's getting some reasonable connections, and I suppose the Stalkers will be able to clean the rest of this. Oh boy, come on, come on. Although then this is happening, right? And that's kind of where, wow, the rubber hits the road. Nestayan, you kind of have to, at this point, digest the loss. GG is called, and that is a clean sweep there for BYUN.